Yeah. I think that's such a lovely nuance to bring to this because I do agree. It's like an offering. And also, who are we to like them saying that doesn't mean they're dependent on
Right.
me. It might mean they're just a lovely human who is like kind and wants to acknowledge the power of the coaching. Um, and I think what you modeled there is like how to navigate taking the gift while not like aggrandizing yourself
Right.
or like not agreeing that it's all
Yes.
you, if that's what they're even
You're
saying.
right.
Right.
I'm great.
Which is absolutely true. You are great. And also there's another person in the room who actually like did the work.
Yeah. And I think that that's like, rather than, because I do know and I understand why a lot of coaches will be like, no, don't give me
Mm,
any credit. You did all the work. But it's like, without the relationship that that coach created, that person might not have gotten to a place where they could have had that breakthrough. So
mm,
it's like, don't diminish the energy of that relationship to the person who's just like feeling some warm fuzzies. Obviously, if it's dependent, to your point, like perk your ears up and notice.
yeah. But you
But
also don't solve that by being like, no, you
no.
solve that by being like, thank you so much. I've noticed that like you often give, it seems like from my perspective, you're giving me
Yes.
credit for work that you did. Does it feel like that to you? If so,
Hmm.
let's explore that.
Yes. Yeah. And like, I think that that's if it's a real concern. Um, I also had to like realize that like culturally people show warmth in different ways. I remember,
Hmm.
I remember like Canadians say sorry a lot. And when I was in the US, people would be like, why are you sorry? It's okay. Oh my gosh. Like they thought it was like me saying, I regret getting out of bed today. And I was just like, oh no, I
That's
just
so
like bumped
funny.
into you or I like almost knocked you with my bag. I'm sorry. Like it's not a big deal. So I had to also remember that there are people who will just say things like, oh, you're doing your magic and it's just their little offering. And we can be like, no, it's, it's,
I am a blank
yeah,
wall. I have
yes,
no
yes.
personality, nothing. One thing I'm realizing that I do sometimes that I just remembered is like, and I don't know if this is fully accepting or repelling or maybe like somewhere in between, but I do acknowledge like it was a collaboration
Yes.
and I enjoy doing that as well.
Yeah.
Like yeah, we really created some breakthroughs
Hmm.
last week. That was
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Because it's true, like I don't have anything to offer if the client doesn't give me anything.
Right.
Like
Yes.
I don't and the way that I coach very much is collaborative. I'm not I might offer my own ideas as like a starting point, but I'm always asking questions like, how does that land for you? What do you think? What does it feel like when you consider doing that?
Yeah.
How like does anything come up? Do you feel any resistance around that? Like I'm always wanting to know what they're actually like how they're receiving what I'm offering.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, maybe the truth is kind of in the middle. It's not just the person sitting there talking to themselves. And it's not just the coach sitting there delivering their incredible tools and wisdom. But it's like the magic is in the relationship.
It
And I
is,
think that's
yes.
really fun to say to people is like, I'm so glad you feel that way. This could only happen because you, my client, is willing to show up and really be honest with yourself and be really devoted to what you want to create and how you want to see your life. So it is an honor. That's actually how I respond now.
Mm,
I'm like, it is an
yeah,
honor to get to do this with you
yeah, yeah.
because it's
I love
magic.
that. I think the magic is in the relationship is like the antidote to dependency as well. Or like, I don't even know if it's the antidote. I think it's like the, it's like a framework that will render dependency irrelevant almost.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't, for one thing, it means we as coaches can't, like, it's not an Elena show. It's not an Erin show. It's like a Elena and Erin
Mm-hmm.
relationship show.
Yes.
It does not like no transformation exists without the client. It takes a lot of pressure off of me as a coach because I'm not full like responsible for
Mm-hmm.
where the client goes, what they do, the direction that they take. It is a collaboration that unfolds. And I can be like responsive to that. The client can lead sometimes, I can lead sometimes, but that's like a navigation that we do together.
And you just touched on something that I honestly do think is magic. In the coaching is I think there's a period of time like when you're a new coach where you are like working really hard and you're like doing the brain gymnastics and you're like, okay, what did they say? Where's the
Yeah.
tool? I better take the notes. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
wait, what does that eyebrow lift mean? Oh God, like there's there's heavy lifting that kind of
Yeah.
goes into learning how to be very present and be ready with like the tools you need to have and just like smooth some of that out. But hopefully at a certain point, the coaching becomes like if you actually trust that the magic is in the relationship, there's a point where you like show up and you just trust that that person is going to get whatever they need because you're aware and you're there and you're really holding the container and the person has a level of trust and belief in you that the things that need to be said will be said.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember like there was like a definitive switch, I think, for me where coaching went from like a lot of effort to I would coach like 5 or 6 people in a day and just be like, wow, how did like, it was kind of some weird flow, time, space thing where
Yeah.
it actually really reminded me of teaching yoga because
Mm-hmm.
after 15 years of doing that, the only thing I would plan was my playlist. And then everything else was like, what is the description of this class today that I'm teaching? Who is there? Looking at the bodies, seeing what people need, knowing a lot of the students. And it was just like, I don't even know what's going to happen today, but I have a playlist and I know there will be a Shavasana and let's go. And it's
Yeah.
super fun to get to that place. It feels like very creative and collaborative.
It is. Yeah. I love that feeling. And I do think that comes from like relying on the collaboration.
Hmm.
And if you can trust in the collaboration, like I used to be so afraid that I would come to a coaching session and there would be like nothing to coach on. And I would like come prepared with questions written down that I would ask the client if there was nothing,
Yeah.
if they were like, I don't know what to coach on. And now I like don't even really think about that. That never really comes up. There's always something to explore.
Yeah.
But I think that is in part because I'm like, I trust in my client that they have a reason for coming and I'm not putting pressure on myself to like do more work than they are wanting to do. And I think that also is an antidote to cultivating dependency is like I don't see myself it's not my job to lead them anywhere in the sense that I'm like pushing them to do
Mm-hmm.
something they don't want to go. It's my job to like help them uncover what they want and then like remove obstacles to getting what they want.
Yes. Yeah. It's like not our job to like pick at the stitches to find some injury to solve, which I actually think that's the corner that the other way of doing it will back people into,
Yeah.
which with what we started with today. Like, I think if you just trust that I have tons of clients who come, they're like, I don't know what I want to coach on today. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then something incredible happens. And I'm like, well, that was unexpected. And they're like, yeah,
Who knew? Yeah.
like, why don't you just tell me what's going on and we'll see kind of what comes up. And then they start describing something. They're like, oh, I guess I wasn't really conscious of how much this was bothering me.
Hmm.
Thank gosh I talked about that today.
Hmm.
Or like sometimes everything is really great and I'm ready to start thinking about how I want to plan next year. It's like wonderful. Um, yeah, trusting it's hard to trust in the collaboration at first.
Yeah, at first. And I think the caveat for like all of our conversations is we've developed opinions after trying a lot of things. And I don't think I would be here if I didn't go through the experience of being like, oh no, I have to push my client to do this thing they say they want to do, but they're not doing. It's my responsibility. If I don't, I'm failing as a coach. And like, I have to lead them and I have to push them. I went through that. And like, I think that was really important for me. But also, I do wish at that time I had heard voices saying there's another way, because I think I might have moved out of that a little more
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, thanks for being that voice for someone else because I mean, all of the things that we kind of talk about as our like, oh, our younger coach selves, like it's not with disdain or thinking that we were wrong. It's actually like we really cared about doing a good job for our clients. We still really care about doing a good job with our clients and helping them get everything they want and more. But I think when you're newer, the belief I was just writing about this today with like money. The belief that
Mhm.
often gets taught and perpetuated is like more effort is good. More effort
Yeah.
equals more results. Don't let there be silence. Don't let there be breathing room. Don't let there be space. You have to show that you, the coach, are like really working hard to help you. Oh, we're going to get this transformation. And it's like, oh my gosh, actually, probably most of our clients just need someone who's not freaking out in their lives.
Yeah. It's so valuable also to have a space where it can feel a little light to explore like that energy versus
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, we can talk about this. We can
Yeah.
laugh about it a little bit. Amazing.
Yeah.
Um, I wanted to, before I forget, I wanted to ask, because it seems like in the way this question was asked, there was like an assumption that there's a relationship between the length of time that you coach and whether a client becomes dependent on you, as though like if you coach longer they'll grow a dependency on you, like as though you're a substance. And I know you don't have a ton of experience with clients like navigating dependency,
Mm,
but I don't know that that's actually true from my experience.
yeah.
But I think that's specifically because I of how I approach
Yeah.
coaching. Like I approach coaching almost with the goal of having the client develop a stronger relationship with themselves
Yeah.
over time.
Yeah.
So I'm like consciously or even unconsciously like helping guide them toward connecting with themselves. So actually like longer term clients I think are more actualized, more connected to themselves, less prone to being like, I'm going to defer my authority to you.
Yeah.
What do you have like, do you have any experience with this?
You know, it's really interesting because I think that my longer term clients are the ones who really are not worried about my feelings as their coach. Like they don't
Mm,
come to coaching sessions and say, "Okay, here's what I got done and here's how I'm doing and all the things." They're just like, "I'm really tired. I don't really know what I want coaching on. Um, let me just like tell you what's going on." They're not trying to people please me. They're not trying to show me how great they're doing. They tend to be much more honest. And because they don't have to like give me the whole backstory of every single situation that they would if they were working with someone new. And
mhm.
they know that I'm not going to scold them for any of the things that they tell me, like we've talked about before. Um, I feel like we can just get further than I probably would with, I mean, definitely than I would with someone who I'd never worked with before. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's much more efficient. And as long as I'm hopefully always doing my job to not pigeonhole them or have big
Mhm.
assumptions about them or the way that they work and that's how it is, I think we just get a lot done. Like I will go
Mhm.
through things that would normally take a couple sessions with most people in like 30 minutes. And then I'm like, what do you want to do? Do you want me to pull some
Mhm.
tarot cards for you? What would be helpful and supportive to talk about?
Yeah.
Um, it's kind of fun. And they're also the people who will tell me if I'm way off.
Mhm.
You know, if I'm like, oh, so do you think that doing this thing differently would be a path forward. And they're like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't think so.
I love that
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah. They'll
Yes.
tell me if I'm totally wrong. They'll tell me if I'm
Hmm.
not, if they don't resonate with something. Like it's good because they actually know that they can be honest with me and I'm the one person in their life. I'm not going to have my feelings hurt.
Hmm. And you created that by not positioning yourself or not within your relationship to yourself. I'm assuming that you created that by not forcing yourself to perform expertise. And like that's how you have cultivate sort of an attachment to like if
Yeah.
you offer something and it just totally flops.
Listen, I tried to be an expert. I tried really hard to like look professional and sound professional and I did all the things that I thought you were supposed to. I have suit jackets. I sometimes wear them, but like I was like business coaching means I must always have my makeup done and I must have lighting and sound and all this stuff that's really not me. And I realize it's not what my clients are looking for because they have to perform that uber professional stuff in their spaces.
Right. They
And
want a
they
space where they don't have to do that.
they need to know they can come to me in their PJs for their session
Hmm.
and cry.
Hmm.
No makeup, no hairdos. Like it's so much work to do that. And I just think that the quality of coaching I was able to offer when I was like, let's try to think productive thoughts because I'm a business coach. Like that just did not, it did not last. I think I tried it for a very small window and yeah,
Hmm.
it's not me. I don't want to work with people who are just trying to make their own mask stronger. I want to work with
Hmm.
people who are like disrupting their industries and
Yeah.
doing cool
And they're
shit.
wielding masks like
Yes.
strategically
Yes. Yeah.
with
When they
their
have
own,
to.
like when they have to, if they, or when they want to
Yeah.
a certain end. They're not
Yeah.
doing it because they think that's the only option.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I work with people who are going to change the way that their industries work.
Mm, I
And
love that.
and sometimes they have to play the game,
Hmm.
but they're going to be running the places that they work for.
Yeah. Are most, like, what's the percentage of long-term versus short-term clients,
Most of
would you
my clients
say?
I've worked with for more than 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm. Was that like a conscious goal of yours?
No, I think I went through a period of time where I was like, a lot of people were like, no, new clients are the prize. Only new money matters. And then someone said to me, like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
A
Why
lot
would
more
you,
work.
why would you want to try to cultivate brand new relationships with people every 6 months? This was, before I shifted into this business, but I had one
Hmm.
particular client who I started working with just as I was becoming a coach. And she's amazing to work with. She has evolved so much. I've evolved so much. We still work together. Um, and I was like, I only want to work with people like that. I want to work with people with that level of intellect, that sharp of a vision. Um, and I want to, and I like love it. And I want to deliver for that person. I want to give them everything I've got. Um, and that does the selling for the most part. There may come
Hmm.
a time where that person wants to take a break or they want to work with somebody else, like totally fine. But most of my clients, I'm trying to think if there's anyone I have a couple of people who are brand new to me who are working on books right now. And I may work with them for a short period of time, long period of time, but a very high percentage of my clients, if they work with me for kind of my 6 month package, they will end up staying for years.
Wow, that's awesome.
Not with a big sales pitch.
Look at this. I know you're like the
I'm
example
trying to be the
of
example. Yeah.
someone who you don't have to sell people. You just have to do your job.
Just do my job. Gonna do my
Just do your
job.
job.
And it's fun to just get to do the work you love and not worry about all the other stuff.
Hmm.
What about you? Do you work with like a lot of long-term people? Like I know your business has kind of shifted in the last little while.
A bit. I mean, it's still kind of in the process of shifting. Last year I took on far fewer clients and actually like downsized a bit. All of my clients currently have worked with me for over 6 months. I would say it's a mixture. I think it depends what a person comes to me
Yeah.
for. So,
Right.
like, I do work with like artists and creatives, or have historically worked a lot with artists and creatives. And some of them come to me for like a very specific reason. Like, there's a performance coming up, and they're like, I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to get this done. And like, I have so much work to do to get it done. And so I'll support them through that. And then they'll like do the thing and they'll be delighted and then they'll leave. And then sometimes they'll actually like come back a little bit later when something new comes up.
When they're
Um,
like, hey, remember all that help you gave me?
yeah, I have another
No.
deadline. I published my first novel and now I'm on my sophomore novel and freaking out about that. So yeah, it's really a mixture. And then some people I might start out working with us on them for a specific reason, and then it'll evolve into just more like general coaching, or some people will just come for general coaching and then we'll have like an ongoing situation.
Yeah. And I mean, that's fun too, because it's always fun to get to know new people and grapple with like new projects and new things.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, I think I love coaching so much because it's sort of like does remind me a lot of tour managing. It's like I get to see backstage at the
Yeah,
show. I get to
it's
do
fun.
I get to like watch all the pieces come together and then it's getting to watch from the wings is kind of a unique perspective and just know
Hmm.
that the audience has no idea the drama that it took to get here,
Yeah.
but I have a glimpse and
Yeah.
it's fun to I don't know. I'm into that. I like knowing how things work behind the scenes.
It is really fun, and I think it also makes me a better coach because I don't necessarily directly use their experiences, but I'm like, I everyone who comes to me is like, I'm unique because I'm struggling with this. And I'm
Hmm.
like, you have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. You are
Hmm.
not unique. You're
Yeah.
perfectly capable of everything you're wanting to create.
Mhm.
I know that because I have worked with people who have created what you want to create, and like
Yeah.
I've seen the process.
They can do it. You can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Oh, so good. Well, I love this
Yay.
question. Thank you to our listener who submitted this question and
Yeah.
love to hear what other people think about this too. You can always find both of us on Instagram. I'm at
Hmm.
Be Superbound. You are at
Elena McKernan.
Nice. And
Yes.
the show notes have information for contacting both of us, besuperbound.com/podcast, or wherever you listen to the show. The show notes should have that information, but you can find us
You
on
can
Instagram
always
too.
find it there. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Anything
Yay.
before we wrap up? How was your drink?
Mm, it was good. I drank the whole thing. It was like juice. It was very good. How was yours?
Good. I haven't quite finished it, but it's very nice. And I would drink this again. It's a weird combo. I'm like Campari and lime and bourbon.
Why not?
Kind of fun. It's like
Yeah.
yeah,
I
did not
liked
do this again.
doing an ingredient.
Me too. Yeah.
Previously, we'd chosen like the liquor that we were going to share, but it was fun
Yes.
to incorporate like an ingredient.
And listeners, we will always take drink recipes,
Yes,
cocktails,
please.
or mocktails. We love a mocktail. As we
Hmm.
mentioned earlier, we're in our 40s. So sometimes one drink is one too many. So mocktails are welcome.
Yes. Yeah, especially mocktails that will help bring back spring weather
Yes.
if anyone has
Bring inspired
that.
mocktail. Anyone? Anyone?
Yeah. Please. All right. Thank you all for listening.
Take care.